Hello and welcome to the Lady Parts Doctor podcast. I'm Dr. Stephanie Hack, the Lady Parts Doctor, and I'm so happy that you are joining me for another chat today. You know, I love when we chat, and I especially love when you have questions and there are additional things you want to talk about. And you did. So last week, we talked about how to choose an OBGYN, and you had a lot of questions. You had questions about or comments like, I didn't even know I could choose an OBGYN. And the truth is, most of the time you can, but it really depends on where you are. It depends on your healthcare system. It depends on your type of insurance. And then it depends on the number of OBGYNs available to you. So, for example, if you live like in a large city, you are probably going to have a lot of options for OBGYNs to choose from. If you live in a smaller city or a more rural area, you probably won't have as many options just because there might not be as many OBGYNs there. So I think that was just a great conversation for us to have. I'm happy that we did it. And today we're going to stay on the GYN track. We're going to talk about the V's, your vagina and your vulva. Have you ever wondered, what's up with your vagina and your vulva? Well, they're also wondering, what's up with you? They're wondering why, after all these years, don't you know them and why you still need to figure them out. And the truth is, it's not your fault. While you've been trying to get acquainted, outside forces have been busy, oh, so busy, teaching and telling you things about them. Some of this information is correct, and some of this information is wrong. Oh, so wrong. Oh, so wrong. So let's talk about it. What should your vagina smell like? That is such a great question. And a quick Google search of feminine odor products will yield a multitude of options for keeping your vagina smelling fresh. Scents like rosehip, blissful escape, cool and refreshing. All of these are available to you for just a small fee. But what does a fresh vagina actually smell like? Like, what does it actually smell like? There's only one answer to that question. I'll give you a hint. It begins with a V. Vagina. Vagina. Oop, I almost spelled it wrong. Vagina. Vagina. A healthy vagina smells like vagina. It doesn't smell like roses or any other flower, not peonies, not petunias, not honeysuckle. It doesn't smell like peaches, strawberries, or some tropical fruit. It doesn't smell like an exotic beach after a late afternoon thunderstorm. Oh no. Again, it smells like vagina. Furthermore, your vaginal smell will change and your vagina will smell stronger at some times more than others. I've always thought of vaginas having a musky, sweet smell. Others have described it as a tangy, fermented, and earthy smell. I remember once actually, and this sticks out in my head because I'd never heard anybody say this before, but one of my patients came in and she told me that her vagina smelled like French fries. French fries. I had never heard that. And so I wasn't sure, like, is this abnormal? Is this a bad smell that could be indicative of something? Or is this just like maybe your vagina just smells like French fries to you? I don't know. Maybe like truffle parmesan. I don't know. Just sitting here as a woman who missed her lunch and I'm hungry. But in a response to a question posed on Ask Men subreddit, and I love to go to Reddit because without fail, they will have discussed something that I want to talk about or one of these topics that you might not feel comfortable talking about with just anyone. And I was not disappointed. So on this Reddit Ask Men subreddit, the question was posed, how would you describe the vagina smell? And one user responded, and if you're under 18, I want you to just skip 20 seconds ahead. I ate high-end cheese from a very nice Swedish or Norwegian restaurant in Chicago 15 years ago. The restaurant was called Avent, and this was a long time ago. So anyway, they had a cheese sampler that was out of this world, and I swear one of the cheeses smelled exactly like vagina. No joke. Very musky and bold, with some zing or tartness, and just like vagina, it was delicious. Okay, there you go. That's one person's take on what a vagina smells like. So then I had to go and see what the women were talking about. And on a similar subreddit on Ask Women, the top response was, honestly, unless you have an infection or don't bathe often enough, your vagina is going to smell fine. I think that a lot of guys go on about, quote, stinky fishy vaginas, end quote, because it's a popular thing to say and they simply don't know any better. Now, this is me, Lady Parts Doctor, Dr. Hack, speaking in my own voice. I think she's right. I think it is a popular thing to say and it is a common insult to women and people with vaginas. But moving on, back to finish her comment. It's kind of like the false but widespread notion that a promiscuous woman will have a, quote, loose, end quote, vagina. I mean, it doesn't smell like flowers and sunbeams, but neither do their dicks. I mean, also a great response. And I don't even know what sunbeams smell like. I imagine they smell very like fresh and light, and I imagine that's probably a nice smell. But in summary, vagina is a smell in itself. It differs somewhat depending on the person, and the person who is doing the smelling in some sense can indicate an infection, like a fishy odor, and others are just variations of healthy. What does your vagina smell like? If you don't know, now is the time to find out. Stop using any scented products like soaps, wipes, tampons, and take a good whiff of your vagina. That's your baseline. That's you. Keep yourself that way, and you'll know if there is a change that may need to be investigated further. How should you clean your vagina and your vulva? Again, a quick Google search will yield a ton of products to keep your vagina clean and your pH balanced. Vaginal health kits, pink peony acidified body wash, Good Stuff Yoni Wash, Enchanted Rose Organic Vaginal Balm. Like, what? The list goes on and on. What did you really need to clean your vagina and vulva? What do you really need? Water in your hand. The vulva and vagina are home to several bacteria and yeast. There's a whole microbiome, and they all live together harmoniously most of the time. Introduction of chemicals and products to wash and clean that area can disrupt the balance and lead to overgrowth of either, causing a yeast or bacterial infection. This is the main reason that we recommend against douching. And so for those of you who don't know, douching is when you introduce like a fluid or wash in the vagina to flush it out. Douching has no known benefits and can disrupt the balance and lead to infection. My advice on vaginal hygiene with my patients is when you are taking a shower or a bath, use your hand to clean in between the folds of your labia. This allows you to kind of rinse out any discharge that might have dried there and anything else that might be stuck in your pubic hair. You can clean really thoroughly like that. And you can also use your hand to clean around the opening of the vagina. Again, remember, you don't need to clean inside. I recommend that you use your clean hand over a cloth, since a cloth can also introduce additional bacteria into your vagina or expose your skin to irritants, depending on whatever detergent that you use when you wash your laundry and wash your towels. Now, this is fine for many, right? Like you can use a cloth for your vagina, but some of us are just more sensitive. We can't even look at detergents the wrong way without being itchy or irritated. So you can use a face cloth if you want, but I like the hand method, and I prefer it for another reason. The hand method helps you familiarize yourself with your vulva and vaginal opening. You can feel any bumps, lumps, or sores that might need to be investigated further. And you wouldn't know if you weren't actually touching and feeling your labia and your vulva regularly. So, how do you clean your vagina? Try the water hand method. Let me know what you think. I'm curious to know what you have to say about that. What should your vagina and vulva look like? It should look like your vulva and your vagina. I am being incredibly sincere when I say this. Like, I'm not trying to be flippant. I really mean this. It should look like your vulva and your vagina. Your vulva is made up of multiple parts. You have two outer lips or labia majora, 2 inner lips or labia minora. You have 3 openings, a urethral opening, a vaginal opening, and an anal opening. You have a perineum, you have your clitoris, your clitoral hood, and your mons pubis. And then we all have different degrees of pubic hair. In June of 2015, Autoblow, yes, that's what it's called, Autoblow Sex Toys introduced a contest to find the best looking vulvas. And I remember this because I remember my husband talking to me about this. Like, have you seen this contest that someone's promoting? And hundreds of women, 532 to be exact, and at least one of these was a picture of a pig, submitted pictures of their vulvas to win the top prize. And that prize included money and a mold of their vaginas to be produced for masturbation purposes. So they were going to make a mold of the vaginas and then they were going to send it into the stores and sell it so people could use it for masturbation. And these vulvas were available online for a vote because obviously the contest has to be post a picture of the vagina or the vulva, and have any random person go online and pick the ones that they like the most. And these, of course, are probably people who buy Autoblow products, but we continue. 3 winners were chosen. My first thought was, that ish is crazy. Why do all of these people need validation of their vulvas? And then I thought, well, how else would you know what your vulva looks like compared to other vulvas? And, we are naturally just curious about these things and always kind of wondering, is this quote unquote normal? Do I look like everyone else, or is there something different? Yes, there are plenty of vulvas for view online, but many of these are hairless and bleached and not representative of the majority of vulvas just among us walking around day to day. For that reason, I have included a link to the submissions in the blog. So remember that for every podcast that I record, there is a corresponding blog. So if you want to see the vulvas that were submitted, go to the blog. It's www.ladypartsdoctor.com. And this blog is What's Up with Your Vagina and Your Vulva. And click on that link. It's got a link under vulvas and you can take a look and see. And don't get discouraged if you don't look like the top picks. Okay? Remember, a lot of the vulvas that people are used to seeing are porn vulvas, and they are not brown, they do not have hair, and they are bleached. And this is not representative of the majority of vulvas around us. There's nothing wrong with that vulva, but I just don't want you to look at that vulva and think you're supposed to look like that, because your vulva is perfect. For a full anatomy review of the vulva, check out my anatomy podcast, or if you want the graphics as well, check out the YouTube video with graphics for anatomy. And that's on the YouTube channel for Lady Parts Doctor. Next, do you need to detox your vagina? No, no, and no. You don't need to steam your vagina or use yoni pearls. There are no proven medical benefits to these practices, and they can actually cause harm. So for those who don't know what vaginal steaming is actually an older, more new to the Western society practice where you either sit or stand over a pot of steaming water that also has some herbs mixed in it, various herbs. And unfortunately, nowadays, these practices can be very profitable, especially if you can be convinced that there is something wrong with your vagina to begin with. So this is not something that you need to do, but what you do need to do is familiarize yourself with your vulva and your vagina so you know what's normal for you. A detox is unnecessary. And finally, should I have discharge from my vagina? Yes, yes, and yes. Vaginal discharge amounts vary for the person and part of the menstrual cycle they're in. Some people have a little from time to time. Some people notice it in their underwear every day. This is often part of the vagina's cleaning process, although it can be a sign of infection in certain cases. Tune in to our vaginal discharge podcast. I think that was out a couple of weeks ago. Or read the blog for more information about vaginal discharge. We go into it a lot further there. So that's it. That's what's up with your V's. And that's just some things that you should know about your vagina and vulva. I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot more about them. I hope this helps you on your path to familiarize yourself with yourself and your body. I hope this empowers you to speak freely, openly, and honestly about yourself and your body. Don't forget to subscribe to the blog on www.ladypartsdoctor.com, the podcast, which is available on blueberry.com, or you can check it out on Apple, Stitcher, Audible, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. We also have the YouTube channel, or I say we, but it's me. Check out my Instagram, ladypartsdoc, LADYPARTSDOC, and I'm on Twitter. I'm on everything. At least I'm trying. I'm actually on TikTok now. I'm sure you've heard me say this before. I have like 2 videos, but I'm trying a little bit of everything out. Let me know if you have any questions, stories, or ideas you want to share by emailing drhack@ladypartsdoctor.com. Until next time.